So here's something most people don't know. You can set up a mushroom patch in your backyard this weekend. No greenhouse, no special equipment, no daily babysitting, and be harvesting protein-dense, fresh mushrooms from that same spot for the next 5 to 10 years. Not those sad little store kits that die on your kitchen counter. Real outdoor patches that fruit season after season on their own. And the nutrition? Dry weight protein in some of these mushrooms goes head-to-head with beef for practically free in the corner of your yard where nothing else grows anyway. Today, I'm covering 8 of the easiest ones, all backyard friendly, all low maintenance, and I cut anything that regularly fails for beginners, so everything here is genuinely doable. Before we get into the list, here's why this actually matters. The mushroom supplement market is enormous. People spend $50, $60, $80 a month on dried extract capsules and powders. Those compounds are real, I'm not saying otherwise. But when you dry mushrooms down, process them, and encapsulate them, heat-sensitive B vitamins degrade. Ergothioneine, one of the most exciting longevity-linked antioxidants in current research, drops significantly. The beta-glucans mostly survive, but the full nutritional picture doesn't. Fresh mushrooms are a completely different food. On protein, yes, fresh mushrooms are mostly water, but compare by dry weight, the honest way to compare any two foods, and several on today's list hit 20, 25, even 30% protein. Beef runs about 25 to 26, same neighborhood. And once mycelium is established in your chip bed or log, it works on its own, breaking down organic matter, spreading, fruiting when conditions are right. You set it up once, nature handles the rest. All right, 8 mushrooms ranked from the absolute easiest to the most rewarding, starting with number 1. Wine cap goes first because it might be the lowest effort edible mushroom you can grow outdoors. Not the lowest effort on this list, the lowest effort period. You spread spawn across a hardwood wood chip bed, water it in once, and you're done. No watering schedule, no maintenance routine. The mycelium threads through the chips on its own, breaks down the wood, suppresses weeds better than landscape fabric, and improves the soil underneath your garden as it works. Free garden maintenance and a food crop at the same time. Spring through fall, for 5 to 10 years from a single inoculation, you get fat mushrooms the size of your hand pushing up through the chips. Deep burgundy red cap when young, meaty stems works exactly like a portobello on the grill or in a pan with garlic and butter. Protein sits around 17 to 21% dry weight, solid B vitamins, good fiber. One thing to get right, use hardwood chips only. Oak, maple, alder. Pine and cedar are too acidic and wine caps will not thrive. You can often get hardwood chips free from local tree services or through Chip Drop in the US and Canada. First harvest comes 6 to 12 months in. After that, they just show up on their own. Number 2 pays you back a lot faster, and the protein numbers are hard to ignore. Pearl oyster runs 20 to 30% protein by dry weight, with a complete amino acid profile, all the essentials your body can't make on its own. A lot of plant proteins are incomplete. Oysters aren't. Add iron, beta-glucans for immune support, and solid B vitamins, and you've got a nutritional package that embarrasses most supplement blends. Outdoors, they grow on straw logs or straw bales inoculated with spawn in a sheltered, shaded spot. No drilling, no wax, no logs to source, just straw, spawn, and a north-facing wall. In the UK, Pacific Northwest, Ireland, and Canada, they fruit almost on their own from spring through late fall. In drier climates, mist occasionally during dry spells. Straw setups give you 2 or 3 big flushes before you refresh the substrate. On hardwood logs, they'll produce for 2 to 4 years. The most common beginner mistake, putting them in direct sun. They want shade and ambient humidity. Get those 2 things right, and they'll genuinely keep up with you. Number 3 is where things get a little dramatic. If pearl oyster is the workhorse, pink oyster is the showstopper. Neon pink, not subtle pink, aggressively, outrageously pink. And in warm weather, you can go from inoculation to first harvest in 2 to 3 weeks. That's not a typo. Protein is around 23 to 25% dry weight protein. The flavor cooks up mildly savory and slightly nutty. A lot of people do pink oyster bacon, caps sliced thin, smoked paprika, oil, roasted until crispy, genuinely good. One important note, pink oyster is a warm climate mushroom. It wants 65 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit to fruit well. Perfect for the southern US, Australia, the Mediterranean, and anywhere with warm summers. In the UK or Canada, grow it as a warm season crop from June through August only. It will not produce in cold weather. Setup is identical to pearl oyster. Straw log or bale, shaded spot, no drilling required. One of the fastest outdoor setups you can do. Number 4 is slower, sturdier, and packing some of the highest protein numbers on this entire list. King oyster runs 25 to 33% dry weight protein, among the highest of any edible mushroom you can actually grow at home. The stem is the main attraction. Dense, firm, almost no hollow center. It holds its texture through roasting, braising, and high-heat searing. Slice into rounds, sear in a hot pan with butter and thyme, and you've got something that belongs on a restaurant plate. You grow them in a buried substrate block, hardwood sawdust and bran, or straw, set into a shaded garden bed, partway into the soil. They fruit from the top in clusters, typically spring and fall, and you'll get flushes for 2 to 3 years from the same block. Slower to start than the other oyster varieties. Expect 3 to 5 months from inoculation to first outdoor flush, but yields per flush are bigger, and freshly harvested king oysters keep in the fridge longer than most mushrooms. Useful if you're not cooking everything the day you pick it. Best fruiting temperatures, 45 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit. In the US and UK, think April, May, September, and October. Number 5 has been the go-to beginner log mushroom for decades, and it earned that reputation. Shiitake is forgiving, reliable, and produces for years. But here's something most people skip over. The difference between log-grown shiitake and what you buy at the store is real. Store shiitake is grown fast on compressed sawdust blocks in climate-controlled facilities, harvested fast, shipped. Log-grown develops more slowly, and that extra time concentrates flavor in a way the fast-grown product can't match. Richer, meatier, genuinely better to cook with. Protein at 17 to 23% dry weight. Lentinin, a polysaccharide with documented immune activity in peer-reviewed research. Ergothioneine, zinc, selenium, B2, B6. These are in the published literature, not on a marketing label. Oak logs are ideal, but sweet chestnut, hornbeam, and beech all work. Drill holes in a diamond pattern, hammer and plug spawn, seal with cheese wax, stack in shade. They'll fruit 2 to 3 times a year for 5 to 8 years. When logs go quiet between flushes, submerge in cold water for 12 to 24 hours and stand them back in shade. New pins usually form within a week. Works almost every time. Number 6 is huge in Japan, almost completely ignored in Western backyards, and honestly, that needs to change. If you've had miso soup at a Japanese restaurant and noticed small, silky, slightly gelatinous mushrooms floating in it, that's usually Nameko. The natural gel coating gives them a uniquely smooth texture when cooked, and the flavor is nutty and subtly rich, more interesting than oyster without being as assertive as shiitake. Protein runs 17 to 20% dry weight, and they're notably high in ergothioneine, the antioxidant amino acid showing up repeatedly in longevity research right now. Cultivation is essentially the same as shiitake. Plug spawn into fresh cut hardwood logs, wax the holes, stack in shade. Nameko just prefers it cooler and moister. It's a dream mushroom for growers in the UK, Ireland, Northern Europe, Canada, and the northern US, where it can fruit fall through spring with minimal management. In warmer climates, just find a reliably cool, sheltered spot, and you'll still get solid fall and spring flushes. A single inoculated log produces multiple flushes per year for 3 to 5 years.
Number 7 is the one chefs know and most home gardeners have never heard of. Pioppino is the mushroom you eat at a good Italian restaurant and spend 10 minutes trying to identify. Called Pioppino in southern Italy, it's a serious culinary mushroom. Rich, caramel, nutty cap. The stem stays genuinely firm through long braises, risottos, and pasta sauces, rare in mushrooms, and exactly why professionals reach for it. Protein by dry weight runs 18 to 22%, with meaningful concentrations of polyphenols that support gut health and manage oxidative stress. You bury short sections of inoculated hardwood log, about a foot long, with roughly 80% underground and the top inch or two exposed. That soil contact is what triggers fruiting. Leave them fully above ground and nothing happens. Get the burial depth right and gorgeous clusters push up through the soil in spring and fall for 3 to 4 years. And number 8, this one goes last because it does something none of the others can. Enoki thrives when every other mushroom on this list has already stopped for the year. Wild enoki looks nothing like the bleached white bundles in supermarkets. Those are grown in the dark to stay pale. Outdoors, enoki grows as golden brown clusters with firm caps and velvety stems. These fruit at 35 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit, temperatures that stop every other mushroom on this list cold. Your shiitake logs go dormant in November. Your wine cap bed stops in October. Your enoki logs might just be getting started. Protein runs 21 to 23% dry weight, and enoki consistently tops the charts for ergothioneine content, the same antioxidant appearing in aging and cellular protection research right now. Oak, elm, and willow logs all work well. Inoculate with plug or sawdust spawn, deep shade, good moisture. In rainy climates, UK, Ireland, Pacific Northwest, they basically manage themselves. In drier spots, wrap logs loosely in burlap to hold moisture without blocking airflow. If you want a year-round mushroom setup, enoki fills the cold weather slot nothing else covers. Those are your 8. Here's how to actually set this up. Spawn is your starting point. Mycelium on a carrier like wood plugs, grame, or sawdust. In the US and Canada, North Spore, Field and Forest Products, and Fungi Perfecti all ship nationwide. In the UK and Europe, Marshall's mushroom kits and Mycelia have what you need. A bag of plug spawn runs roughly $15 to $25 and inoculates several logs. For log-growing species, get fresh-cut hardwood within the past 6 to 8 weeks, 4 to 8 inches in diameter. Oak is most reliable. Beech, maple, and alder are all solid. Avoid softwoods and anything cut longer than a couple of months ago. The bark weakens as a contamination barrier as the log dries. For wine cap and oyster on straw, get hardwood wood chips from a local arborist or chip drop. Many tree services drop a load free. Inoculating logs, drill holes every 6 inches in a diamond pattern, hammer in plug spawn, seal every hole with melted cheese wax. That seal keeps competing molds out while your mycelium establishes. 20 to 30 minutes per log. For your spot, shade is non-negotiable. North-facing bed, under a tree, along a shaded fence. If moss grows there without effort, mushrooms will likely thrive too. Chip beds start producing in 6 to 12 months. Logs take 1 full season. After that, years on their own. A few final things worth knowing. When logs go quiet, soak them in cold water for 12 to 24 hours, then stand them back in shade. New pins usually form within 5 to 10 days. Offset your species by season deliberately. Wine cap and oyster for spring and fall.
king oyster for the cooler shoulder months, Nameko and Pioppino for autumn, and Enoki for late fall through winter. 2 or 3 species staggered that way, and you're pulling fresh mushrooms March through December. That's a food system, not a hobby. Start with 2 or 3 species, see what your yard does with them, then expand. The knowledge you build about your own microclimate is worth more than any guide. And do the math. A basic setup, 3 logs, 1 chip bed, spawn, wax, runs roughly $80 to $120. If you're currently spending $50 to $80 a month on mushroom supplements, you've broken even by month 2 of your first harvest. Every flush after that is free food. You don't need a farm. You don't need a greenhouse. You don't need a green thumb or a big yard. You need a shaded corner, a log or 2, and a bag of spawn. Set it up once, come back to it for years. So which one are you starting with? Wine cap for the easiest possible entry? King oyster for the highest protein? Or Enoki because you want fresh mushrooms in November when everything else has shut down? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. If this was useful, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. See you in the next one. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Nothing here is medical advice. Do your own research, consult a professional for health decisions, and check local regulations around cultivation. Results will vary. Happy growing!